Good afternoon, friends. Got a quick one in today. I had someone ring me up this morning, and he's bought me in a guitar, and it badly needs a setup. It's a Yamaha APX 502 Performance Electric Acoustics APX 502 BL. Well, I mean, it's black, doesn't it? Made in Indonesia, Yamaha Corporation. I would say budget to medium range. Probably not quite medium. Decent guitar when all said and done. Don't know anything about the woods or anything, but tuners are really nice. They work well. Solid die cast machine heads. They're not this piece of plastic crap. Came in, the guy says it's just buzzing everywhere. The action is way high. It's way too high. It's 3mm at the 12th fret. So I am going to take a millimetre off this saddle. Plastic saddle again. You could do better than that, but so I'm going to file down the saddle, take some off, take about 1.5mm, maybe even up to 2mm off the saddle, drop it right down, bring it low, so the action's right. A little bit more relief in my neck. And I'm going to replace the knot. We're going to put we'll put a tusk knot in there. That's all I bother with. Anyone comes, even if you've got a cheap guitar, say, look, you want a new knot, get a tusk for 10 quid. Man-made bone, or man-made ivory in this case. Self-lubricating, brilliant pieces of kit. These are all I use, tusk knots. So I'm going to order one of them. Frets wise, there's seven frets need levelling. I've told him I'll include it in an intensive setup. I normally only do 5, but rather than just go for a complete fret level, it's not worth spending all the money for a fret level setup. It's 110 quid. He's not going to do it, so I said I'll include it because it's only 7. I'm going to take the strings off. New knot, not so much a new saddle, but we'll file down the saddle and I'll work on those frets, and we'll get the frets recrowned, get them all polished up, get some oil, mineral oil on the neck there, get the action lowered, get it all tuned back up with a new nut. Guitar itself, neck straight, it's not brilliant at this end where they always tend to, sometimes where they're glued in, they always tend to dip down, towards the guitar that way. So being level, the rest of the neck, it dipped down a bit. So your neck sort of goes up and it flattens out. It's just what happens. It's not a bad thing. It'd be worse if it was bent that way. We'll most sort it out, but because it's bent that way, we can sort it out and it's fine anyway. So just show the action. Here's a 12th fret just above my finger. That really is quite high, isn't it? You'll probably see it if I get some. There you go. Can you see it there? 3mm. So we need to sort that out. And that's it. It's pretty straightforward. Let's hope it all goes well. I'm going to take the strings off. I'm going to put the same strings back on. We're not really old. We don't look dirty. The guy has lost his love for this guitar. He says, you don't bother with it. Can you sort it out? I says, yeah, I can sort it out. So spend an afternoon on this and get it sorted and see how we are. I will come back I'll come back with a mid update when I've got the strings off, and we'll have a look at the frets, and hopefully we'll get this one done today. Right, I've had a look at the guitar. It's my opinion that the first 5 frets need replacing because of the wear in there. The first 5 frets are a lot more worn than all of the other frets. And the thing is, if we leave them on like that with that wear and the divots in there, he's going to need a complete refret within a year, because I know he's a heavy player. And a refret on this band neck, that takes you 275 quid. Fret wire and a new nut is going to cost you another 25 quid, so it's going to take up to 200 quid. Replacing 5 frets, I'm prepared to do it really cheap because I have another work done, but I'm going to show you the 5 frets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That fifth one's not so bad, but it's still got divots. I recommend replacing all these 5. If you want to zoom in, there's quite a lot of wear on these 5 frets. I mean, you can leave them if you want, but you're going to be back in a year's time needing a refret, or the guitar's going to be no good. So that's what I recommend. Now, at this end, from here onwards, from about fret 8, 7, 8 onwards, 7 frets need levelling. So this basically, really what I should be quoting for, I should be quoting for a complete fret level with a setup, which is 100 quid. And then I should be charging £10 each per fret, so it's 150 quid's worth of work here. I'm not going to charge anywhere near that. I've already quoted the guy 65 quid for the work, and I want 30 quid for the other 5 frets, so it's going to be 95 quid all in. Tell me we can get better than that. You're getting a fret level you're getting a quarter refret and you're getting a complete setup. So I'm now waiting to hear back from the owner of this guitar. I can't do any work on it until he gets back to me. The nut, I was going to suggest replacing the nut. We got a new thingy on for takeaway, but that is actually a resin, I believe, so it should be hard enough, so it should be right. So I can keep that nut on. I will just make sure it's glued in place. We can get away with that nut if he wants to save a little bit of money. But that's it. I can't do anything now till I hear from a guy. So I've texted him, let him know all the information. What I will do is, well, I can't do any more. I could possibly start shaping this saddle, because I'm going to take some off the bottom. I'm going to take at least 1 millimetre off the bottom there. The top is also a little bit worn, so I'm going to file the top, smooth it off, get the radius, set the radius to whatever radius is on the guitar. So I'll get filing that. That's about all I can do on that today. So I'm going to blob back on to something else. I've got 2 more guitars in that I can work on straight away. I also have, I've got 2 more coming in tonight, 2 more coming in Sunday. So it's going to get a bit chaotic here again. And I've not even advertised for work in the last few weeks. Anyway, nothing I can do about this right now. 2, 3. I mean, I say 5. I mean, I could do 3. The thing is, doing them 3, the 2 next to them are still pretty. We're going to need doing again. And what's the point of it? Let's see how it goes. Let's see what Jeff says when he gets back to me. But just if you want to zoom in and have a look, any of my luthier or guitar tech friends can have a zoom in there and have a look. Tell me what you think. Definitely replace these 3 frets. I would say all 5 because there's wear on all these 5. These ones are all fine after that. So I'm recommending that we replace these 5 frets. I've got some, it's 2mm fret wire. I've got some 2mm fret wire in the parts drawer over here. In fact, I've got enough to do a complete guitar. But the thing is, it's not going to pay to have this done. I mean, £200 on a guitar like this, it's not even worth £200, is it? So I don't even know what we go for now. So that's that. So I'm going to wait for the owner to get back to me, and I'll be back with an update later. Oh, hang on, no I won't. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to move the camera and we're going to go across these frets and I'm going to show you which ones need levelling, just so the owner knows. Bear with me, I'll be back in a second. So here we are, changing the position of the camera. Weird scale this one, 25-inch scale. Good job I've got a 25-inch thingamadoof, isn't it? Right, we just got a tiny bit of relief in there. I will find a 4mm Allen key somewhere. Definitely got one. Here you go. We'll loosen that truss rod and we'll just straighten that neck up, get it absolutely straight. Then we'll go across. It says it's got a 4mm. Is that a 4? Heck, it's not going to be a 4mm, is it? No, it's not a 4mm. Let's see if it's a 5. Brilliant. I don't even know what size Allen key this takes. That's no good. Bear with me a second, people. Oh, heck. Allen keys, 5mm. Could possibly be a 4.5. Why don't they just have a ruddy Allen key with them? Right, so that's not going in. This is fun. Come on, it looks bigger than that. It is a 4. Loosen that off. Well, it's a 2-way truss rod, is it? That makes things a lot easier. Okay. Right, that neck is absolutely, oh, that's brilliant. The neck is absolutely level now. Just go back a 16th of a turn. There you go. Let's just check there. Now we'll go back again. Let's just put a bit of relief in it. Right. So it is a 4mm. Right, neck is absolutely level. Happy with that. Just go across the frets. Now we're going to get some wobble around here anyway because there's divots, but in the main these frets are all fine. When we get to start getting to here you go, first one. Fret 10, that's 1, 11's fine, 12's fine, 13's fine, 15, that's 2, 16, that's 3, 17's okay, 18 rocking, that's 4, 19 rocking, that's 5, 20 rocking, that's 6. So we've got 6 rocking frets. 20, 19's okay, 18 rocking, that's 2, 17 3, 16 4, whatever it is, 5, 6, 7 rocking frets there. Well, that one's rocking a little bit as well. So I've got 8 rocking frets. We're going to rock here because of a divots. We're going to replace these 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it doesn't matter if these rock anyway. So 8 frets need attention up this end. In my opinion, that 5 need changing. Otherwise, we're going to get rock here. Do you know what I mean? So that's it. Change 5 frets, level 7 or 8 frets at this end. I can only work with what's in front of me. The guy's not got back to me yet, so put this one on hold. We know we've got a 4mm truss rod there. And there you go. Straight neck. So on hold, I'll be back. I'll let you know how everything goes as and when I know myself. Quick update, Jeff has got back to me, he's okayed the work. We are going for the fret level up the top end, and we're going to replace the first 5 frets down at the neck end. I've decided the nut and the saddle, that need replacing. They're not a plastic, they're made from a resin. Resin's different to plastic, where it doesn't wear, or it certainly doesn't wear like plastic does. So what I'm just going to slightly reshape the nut, and I'm going to reshape the saddle. We're going to absolutely fine with those. So we know what we're doing. I've got some 2mm fret wire to stick in these 5 frets. Obviously I've got the binding to work around. Normally I charge at least double for what I am charging for these frets, because I've got work inside the binding. So I've got to take the frets out, and I've got to shape the new ones so they don't, so they overhang and they don't cut through the binding. You know how that works. I've got plenty of videos on that. So that's it. So the work has been commissioned. I know exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to crack on with it. And I'll be back with an update when I start the work. Welcome back, friends. It's early morning, Friday. Got the Yamaha. I've got the 5 frets out. You will see. There are 3 what seems to be little tags in the fret slots there, and that is because we've got a little bit of chipping on each one, and these are little Teflon inserts. They're 1/2mm wide, cut quite small, got a little curve in there, and we put them in the slots, and this is going to help me repair those tiny little chips. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill, I don't even know if you can see them, there's one there, there's one there, and there's one there, and we're going to fill these with a little bit of rosewood dust. And we're going to drop some CA glue, or more commonly known as super glue, in there, and it'll sit slightly proud of the surface. And what we'll do then is we'll just gently file them down till they're more or less flat. Then we'll get some sandpaper on there, probably some 400 grit, and we'll smooth the fingerboard. You'll then see that the slots, I've cleared all the slots out, removed the old frets, and I'm going to be replacing the frets. I have here I have a bag of 2mm by 1.1 fret wire. It's all straight. I bought this for a job sometime last year, and I decided that the wire wasn't wide enough, and it's also, I mean, it's virtually straight. It's quite difficult to bend, even if you're just bending one. I mean, I've got a fret bending tool, but it doesn't bend them a lot. But I only need to put a gentle curve in these because the radius is like it's like 16-inch radius on that fingerboard. So I'm going to show you basically how I bend one. All I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the fret in the fret bending tool. I'm totally doing this at the wrong angle, but once we've got it started, once we're in there, just a matter of just turning this wheel, pulling it through, and that has just put a slight bend. That's it. That's enough. That's more than enough. That's more than a 16-inch radius. It's just over. In fact, I'll put a little bit more bend in that. And how we do that ultra on the machine is we undo the screw at the back, we do a quarter of a turn down, so it goes down, we can put more bend in there. And we're going to just stick this in, and we're going to run it both ways. And it's just a matter of pushing it through, pulling it through that way, and then I'll go this way. I'll go the opposite direction. Not opposite direction, but I'll put the other end of the fret wire in. Really, really easy. And that's it, that's through. That is more than enough bend there. If I hold it up in front of my chest, you're going to see the curve. Right, here's one I've already done. And what I do is I'll take the fret wire, and I'll see how wide this slot is, and what I'll do is I'll cut the tang off. Again, I'll show you in front of my shirt so you can see it. Can you see there? And I'll remove the tang. Remove quite a lot there, but what tang I have left there, it'll just fit inside that slot, and probably a millimetre each side. I also just over bend these edges with a plier just to accentuate the bending there for when I snip the ends off when I put it in the guitar. And basically how it works is I'm not going to hammer this in, I'm just going to place it in because these are going to be pressed in. But this is the kind of scenario I'm looking at. That's the kind of thing I'm looking at there, where these tangs have been cut off each side so it'll fit just in this slot. And I'll glue these in. If you see, if I can show you just that angle there, see how it's beginning to work now. And I'll come here, and you'll see there exactly how it works. Once that's pressed in, it'll be absolutely fine. These edges I'll then snip off. Now I could cut these exactly to size, but that is really proving to be quite difficult. And you see these frets, we don't quite go to the edge of the guitar. The ones already in there, we just go inside the binder. Mine are going to go right to the edge. I'm going to finish them with a hand file. I thought of cutting them to exact length, but it's too picky, too finicky. It's not going to make any difference as long as the playing surface is alright and we've got enough area there. So I'm going to do it by hand once the frets are in. So I'm going to zoom ahead. I'm going to crack on with filling these little cracks in there, these little chips. And when that's done, we'll get it over to the fret press, and I'll show you how we're going to get the frets in. So stay tuned for that. Back soon. So just going to show that now I've filled the slots with rosewood dust, then super glue, and it looks messy, and every area is proud of the fingerboard, and all that remains for me to do now is to remove these inserts, which I'm going to do. Now super glue should not stick to Teflon. One out. Just get a little bend. There you go. Two. Bend it, and there you go. Okay, so we look messy, but each fixed area is now well proud of the surface. I'll show you a better angle there. You see where we are there. And now it's just a matter of, I'm going to file that down. Once I get close to the fingerboard itself, I will stop filing and I will get some 400 grit sandpaper, and we will smooth, well, I'll get some 240 grit, take off the most of it, and then I'll smooth off with 400. So there you go. I'll come back and show you the results shortly. And roughly an hour later, I have the fingerboard prepped, ready for the new frets. You see a bit of shine on there where I've filled in certain chips. We don't worry about stuff like that because once the fingerboard is all oiled up, it's going to darken anyway. That is absolutely fine. Proud of that. I had to do quite a lot of build up on this fret because the slot was really quite wide and it was a deep slot. When I put another fret in, I'd have it in too hard, so I've had to basically fill this slot again and smooth it all back off. But now you see, nice and thin to accept the new fret. So the new frets are going to sit beautiful in those 5 slots. So that's that done. I'm now going to cut the frets and I'll come and show you how we get them in a little bit later. Right, I've now moved on to leveling the frets. I'm going to turn the camera on the frets or on the guitar, and I'm doing it all by hand, just with a flat file, because they don't need a lot of material removing, but it still needs doing. So I'm going to just point the camera on the guitar. And that will do. Now you're going to wonder what that blue tape is there. And that is, I've put a sheet of kitchen roll, folded up and wet, damp, just to go over the 5 frets on the fingerboard. And what we're going to do is, I've sealed it with tape, so there's no air gap in there. And what we're going to do is let the water soak in. First I soaked it with mineral oil. Let some mineral oil get in the slots. I'm going to just soak it in water just for a few hours, let the damp just get into the wood, and what it's going to do is it's going to open the pores up slightly, and when I put the new frets in, because the slots are tight, it's going to accept the frets a lot easier, because you can see these have got quite a wide tang on here, maybe wider than the tang that was on them anyway, but it's just going to open that wood up a little bit. Once this is all, I've left it a few hours, I'll take it off, the wood it'll be damp, it won't be wet. And when I put some glue in there, the glue is still going to dry in time, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 5 frets in, and we're going to put a clamp over the top. We're going to press all the frets down. They're going to be perfectly level and straight, and the wood eventually is going to dry out. Every matter of half a day, it's going to dry out, and the frets are going to be really, really tight in there. They're not going to come out. So that's why I've done that. Now we're moving on to leveling the frets, and I've done 2 already. And I'm not marking out which ones need doing or anything. I'm just going across with a file. I'm going across with a fret rocker and checking as I do it. And those 2 have been done. I've now marked them in blue. This one's marked all black, meaning the whole area needs levelling. As you see. So take file, clean the file as always. Always clean your files so we don't get any grits from the last one digging into the fret. And I mark them in black, the ones that need doing, and when they've been done, I mark them in blue to show they've been done and show where I need to re-crown them later. So what I'm going to do is just go across with a couple of strokes, just following the line, following the arc. Just a little bit high in the middle, just a little bit high on that edge. Clean the file. You're not going to need a lot of work. Now that one's level. Blow away all the dust, colour it blue to show we need to re-crown that later. So far, I've got 3 for re-crowning. We're not going to take a lot of work, we'll just go with a crowning file. And I'm just going to check as I go along. That one's quite high. So a lot of these need doing. Again, this area doesn't need this edge doing, but it needs the rest of this doing. I mean, by rights, this should be having a whole fret level and 5 frets replaced, but that would cost more than the guitar's worth. So, new customer, always give them a good deal first time round. If I need to get down on this corner, I'll turn the guitar around and work from the other side, because we don't want to be scratching into the guitar. Again, still high over here. a little bit higher in this area. So I'm going to go from the other side, just make things easier. And that's it, we're done on that one. So you can see, I've had to do all 4 of these so far. So these 4 need crowning. Always check one back to make sure we're not still high anywhere. And we've checked them all back and we're all absolutely fine. So we know we're now all level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 are all level. Hooray, level 1. Not so low. See what I mean about these? So this is only needs half working on. Now I'm going to turn the guitar around because that's awkward. It's all this side. I don't want to dig into the body. So when it comes to that kind of scenario, just turn the guitar around. And there you go. And now I can work this side. This one fret here. And I'm not going to be digging into anything. Once we get past this area where the body is, it's really easy because we've got the whole fret to get at. Still high in the middle. So then that one's good. Again, high all across. This should have had a complete fret level. Basically what I should have done is I should have gone across all of the frets with a level beam, 5 a lot down, then replace these 3, 4, 5 at the end there. You'd have been looking at 130 quid for that. I mean, what's the point of that? Guitar's not worth that. This is why I was getting fretboard, so this is a rock. That fret is high all the way across. This one's really flattened out now. I took quite a bit of material off this one. No bother. We're now level. Next one's going to need a lot of work as well. So you see my problem with these. They all needed doing. Good thing about them being weedy, little frets. Still high. What I mean with the little frets in these, they're easier to fix. Just going to play a lot better once this is done. So look at that end. That just needs a little bit of work. guitar back as we work, because now I can get at all the frets so you can see better. But you see, the problem with once the frets are out of whack, check back, a little bit high there. I've actually worked on all of these frets, bar 2, I think, so. See, when you alter one, it alters how the others work. That one's all out of kilter now. If this was an expensive guitar, I'd have said we need to level the lot. Like I always say in my videos, once you alter one fret, the relationship between the two next to it is going to change. And that's exactly what has happened here. Because I've lowered these, that one is now high. And it will affect all the others. I just reckon these frets aren't seated very well. Now we're going there. Right, a good one. See, now I've stopped marking them because I know where I need to work. This comes with experience. So let's alter the one behind it, which didn't need work at first, now it does. What I'll do with all of these, once I've got those new ones in, I'll skim across the whole lot with a level beam, so we level the whole lot. I'm going to end up recrowding a lot here. I'm not going to charge anymore. Always checking back. So the reason I'm not marking them in pen anymore is I'm going to re-crown the whole lot. So virtually all of these frets need some kind of work, bar 3 maybe. So out of a 20 fret, I had to work on 17. I should have been doing a complete fret level on this, but it's okay. Just checking all the frets again, making sure we're all level with each other. You have to feel the curve of the fret when you've been doing it a while. Back one first before you check the one you've just done, then go and check the one you've just done. Sometimes it might not be the height, you might just have angled your file and you need to just straighten it off a bit just to get that level right. And I think this is a case of how a few of these are now, so let's go check back one. There you go. Done. All frets levelled. I've done about 13 of the whole frets had to be touched, 5 replaced. So out of 20 or 21, we've done 18. These rails come out. A couple of tiny scratches on the fingerboard, no problem. They just come straight out. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to mark them all up for profiling in red. I know this video's gone a lot longer than I wanted it to now, but at the end of the day I'm just going to show all the work. In fact, I'm not going to profile them just yet, because I've got 5 new ones to get in. So, we'll let it soak for another hour. I'm going to move on to something else, and I'll come back, we'll get the frets in, and blah blah blah. Back briefly, just to show the profiling or the recrowding of the frets. I've done most of them anyway. I'm just going back this way. I'm going to zoom in and you can watch me do it. I'm using the crowning file. It's got a curved file in there. Can you see that? And that's going to reprofile them rather than me do it just with a normal 3-pointer trial or free edge file, should I say. So just doing it with this. Wipe every fret. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've done these 6. Done all these on this side. I'm just doing on the far side now, and it's just a matter of reprofile, wipe, 2 wipes if you want, and you should see the dust, the metal dust coming off here. I'll show you all that in a minute. These are all done anyway. I've done these both sides. Just basically need to do that. And there you go, and you see all the dust here. They are now reprofiled. They just need polishing. You need to get these new frets in, get them all levelled, get these profiled as well, and that will be it. We can bag some strings on, or what we're going to do is we're going to alter the saddle, alter the nut, get some strings on, get it all set up. There is a fingerboard all ready for the new frets, and what I've done is I've taken a spare fret, I've ground off all the barbs on the tang, that side and that side. So I'll have a little extension on each side just so I can get the fret in and out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure these slots are wide enough for the new fret. I've removed the barbs so they're not going to stick in. You see a new fret has barbs which holds it in place. I filed the barbs off this, so all I'm going to do is, and I've already tested all these and they're all absolutely fine. All we're going to do is we're going to place it inside and just tap it with the hammer, and you see the fret goes in, and because it's got no barbs on it, it pulls straight back out. And we're just checking all of the fret slots. So we know all the frets are going to take. That was going to be beautiful and tight, that one. Well, but I was saying that we're all tight. Just tap them in. So we know the frets are all going to go in. Beautiful, these, really tight. I don't know where I saw this. Must have been on either out of one of my books or somewhere on YouTube maybe. Check that all the frets are going to go in, and they are. They don't even need any glue, but I'm going to put a little bit of glue in there. So I'm going to tape these up, and I'm going to get the frets in. I'm going to press them in over on the fret press over there. Not going to film it. This film's gone on, or this video's gone on quite long enough at the moment. So take my word for it. I'll get them on the fret press, and I'll come back and show you the result shortly. The camera is now facing the fret press. All the fret slots I've glue in all of the fret slots. Do I have enough clearance here? I think I do. I'm just going to wipe up the excess glue using a piece of wet kitchen towel, because I've got enough glue in all of the slots. Just removing this glue out of the way. We can get the frets in now, dry that off, because I don't really want it on the fingerboard, but we can scrape that off later anyway. So all the frets are full of glue. I'm not going to faff about with this. I'm going to take a fret, I'll put it over the slot where it needs to be. I'm going to just thumb it in like so, and I'm going to proceed to get these frets in. So just bear with me a second while I get these frets lined up. They may or may not go in really easy. I imagine they will once I've got them lined up. Maybe I should have started them off with a hammer first. Let's get the first one in and see how we go. That wasn't good. I hope that's not snapped the truss rod, and I think it might have done. Right, that crack you heard when I was clamping my frets in was it wasn't the truss rod snapping, it was the actual neck snapping right where the headstock meets the guitar. Me, like a trooper, carried on doing the work knowing that that had likely happened or something really bad had happened. Carried on doing the work, saw the damage, but decided still to clamp the frets, which I've done. I'm going to show you the damage now, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do about it. Don't know if you can see it there, but it's cracked here on the, maybe there's a scarf joint, just on the scarf joint. Can you see it? Maybe I'll show you later and you'll get a better idea later. Still soldiered on with the work. Straight away decided to contact the owner of the guitar, let him know what's happened. Talked through a couple of options, and the options I gave him were, I give him the money for the guitar. That's that. He owes me nothing, obviously. I give him a replacement guitar where I actually have a brand new Stag guitar which was a little bit damaged when I got it. I actually got my money back off Amazon. It's a really good guitar, spruce top, mahogany back and sides, really, really good. Fishman Isis EQ, and that worth 250 quid in its day. I offered to give him that. I also offered him to repair this, carry on doing all the work, to repair the guitar. He'll still see the break where it was, but I won't charge him anything. And that's what is agreed to. I've sent him a photo of the damage. He says, what will it play like when you repaired it? I says, well, it'll play better than you did when you bought it, because I've replaced the frets and I've levelled all the other frets. And I'm still doing the full setup on that. So I'm going to continue with the work, and I'm going to repair the neck. I'm going to clamp it. Once I've got the frets all sorted out, I'll clamp it a little bit backwards, and we'll get some glue in that crack, and then I'll clamp that up, clamp it all together, and I'll tidy up that area the best I can using, I'll use a little bit of coloured epoxy in the crack, and I'll get it all tidied up. So I'm not being paid for this job now, so what's it going to cost me? It's probably going to cost me 36 hours, or it's probably going to cost me a day and a half or a shift and a half. End of the day, it's little price to pay for what's happened. Complete accident. Obviously where my clamp is, the clamp's there, and I've got the neck bit, and I've got the neck there and that bit, and I've obviously come across, because I've got it all padded up, didn't support the neck right under the first fret like I should have done. Wasn't thinking about it, pressed it, and you heard it crack, you saw what happened. So anyway, we've come to an agreement. So all I'm going to do is, when these frets have dried, I will repair the neck, and once the neck's repaired, then I'll start working on the frets, getting them all level, getting all these new frets cut, and blah 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 blah. So can't do anything else on this at the moment while it's clamped. So I've took the clamp off. I'll show the work on the frets, blah blah blah. New frets are in, they're all level. They need dressing, need cutting and dressing and shaping. But let's get to the area of the guitar that needs fixing, and it's cracked right on the scarf joint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be clamping this region. I'm going to try and open up the headstock just a little bit, just enough to drop some glue, we'll get some tight bond in there, maybe some water as well, just so the water and the glue seep in together. I don't want to be prizing that open too much, because we don't want to snap it completely. And that's really it. I'm hoping you can see that. I don't know if you can. I think you'll see it now. And end of the day, you know, anything comes in here and I damage it, it's up to me to either replace it, put it right, fix it, or whatever. So, you know, that's exactly what I'm doing in this case. And praise the Lord, I've actually got a customer or a client that's so understanding. He understands accidents happen, he understands I didn't do it on purpose, and he's happy enough just to have a repair. All that's going to happen is I'm not going to get paid for the work on this. So, okay, what have I lost? I've lost 2 days, you know, of time. I haven't lost it. I'll make it up some other way. You know, it's not like I'm not going to work again, is it? So I'm going to crack on with this. I'm not going to film everything, because this video will be super long. I don't like to make them too long. So what I'll do is I'll do the work off camera. I'll get the frets sorted out. I'll get the fix. I'm going to do the fix first. If I get the fix done, I might make a separate video showing the fix. Once I've got the fix done, then I can get back onto the frets and we can sort that out. We can get the saddle done, get the nut done, get the guitar set up, some strings on it set up, and get it playing how it should be playing. End of the day, the owner is having his guitar back. I'm not charging him a penny, and you know, and that's the best I could really vote for. So happy days. So I've decided to end this video right here. We've agreed, I mean, I'm going to be moving on to now repairing the guitar rather than finishing it off and doing the setup, blah blah blah, because you saw what's happened. So I'm going to have a video here, come back in part 2 to see the fix and to see me sort out all the frets, get it set up and blah blah blah. Stay tuned, come back for part 2. Alright, welcome back. This is the Yamaha APX 500, the one I cracked my neck on last week, putting these frets in, but that is not stopping us. Like I say, I've talked to the owner. We know it's going to be cosmetically not perfect at the back when I repair all that or paint all that up, whatever, but we're still going to do the work properly. And now see, the 5 frets I've installed, I need to now put that bevel in. And rather than use my beveling file and come down the side, I'm using a hand file. And I'm going to do it all by hand. And you see why I've got everything double taped up, because when I get close to the edge, chances are I'm going to dig into the guitar binding. Well, I don't want to do that, so I'm going to take it as close as I can with this file. So I'm going to zoom in and show you exactly how I'm doing that. It's the first time I've done it this way. End of the day, we're doing it right. Let's get it done right. So the first one I've done is this one here. And I know these aren't right up to the edge, but these are going to be right up to the edge. I can't do anything about that unless I'd cut them precision and blah, blah, blah. But this is still going to be good. So this one's done. And you see I've put that bevel there. Can highlight that bevel because we're going to got to file this down again anyway. That bevel is highlighted there. We've done that bevel there. And I've got to do these 4. Then I'm going to turn the guitar around. I'm going to come and do this side here. So, file. Make sure we've got a rag for cleaning. Always we can just use a piece of kitchen roll there. Always make sure we get the bits of filing off there. And it's just a matter of taking it right up to the edge. We know we're going to go into the paper. That doesn't matter going into the paper. It means we're not going into the guitar. That one's done. And we're going to now do the others. It's just a matter of see, if we're digging the side, we're going to dig into the tape, not the guitar. Quite difficult to keep a steady file, but you've got to keep it steady. So, and then we come back, we check the angle. We need to go back this way a little bit. Once this is all done and the tape is off, I will go down here with a file just to make sure we've got nothing sticking out over here. I've got a little bit sticking out over there. And this is how I'm going to bevel the frets. I'm doing this for nothing. So this is eating into my time. What I'm going to plan to do is, when I work in the day, I'm going to work till 5 PM and I'm going to or 6 PM and I'm going to spend an hour on this. Probably won't be done this week now, like I said, like it would have been if I wasn't doing the repairs, but it's getting free work now, isn't it? So that's it. Done the other one, that's 2 done now. You see how it's working out, and once we've got those edges beveled in, we're just going to round these edges off, and that is now ready for levelling and crowning. Three more to do. Got to get all the rest done, and I'll come back and show you how we got on once it's all finished. So, Yamaha APX 500, I've just been and fetched it back from Mr. Eastwood today over at Beaver Guitars, and what a lovely job he's done of fixing the brake on the neck. He's done all the finishing there, resprayed it, it's smooth as anything, it looks absolutely fantastic, you can't even tell there's been a break. So I've done that at my expense, I've put the tuners back on, and I've then set about getting the action lowered, and I've lowered the action down to 2¼ millimeters above the 12th fret on the low E. The guitar plays a lot better. Now if you do remember, I have given this a complete fret level from fret 5 upwards. I've recrowned the frets and polished them, and I've replaced these first 5 frets. I've done loads of work on this guitar, but I still need to do more work, and if you see how low the saddle is there, according to the bridge, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove some material off the top of this bridge. It's not finished yet, so I'm going to take a rasp or a good sharp file to this piece of rosewood, and I'm going to remove at least a good millimetre of material off the top. Then I'm going to sand it smooth, then I'm going to put the saddle back in. We've got a lovely action, like I say, 2¼ millimeters on the low E, 2 meters on the high, 2 millimeters on the high E. There's a 12th fret there. Guitar plays beautiful now, so we are going to get cracking on this. This has been, for me, I've not earned anything on this. I've had to pay for it to be resprayed. I've lost hours on this. I'm going to put a new set of strings on there, set of 1048s, and the hours I've put in this, I've not made a penny on it. It's a free, basically it's a free one. Got a little bit of carving to do on the nut, but I am going to do this. I'll finish this off on Monday because I've done for the day, Saturday today. But I just wanted to show the progress on the guitar. So basically it's had complete fret level, 5 frets replaced, it's had the action all sorted out. I'll be doing some carving on here. I'm vastly under, it's not so much I undercharged on this, it's you have to take into consideration what the guitar's worth and what the guitar's going to sell for if you want to sell it, and I couldn't really charge a daft amount of money for doing this anyway. So end of the day, it was my fault the neck got cracked, so it was my problem to put it right. I could have done the job, got it right, go it in back with the glue cracking it, and it'd have been cosmetically, it wouldn't have been very nice. At least now he's getting the guitar back. Well, I mean, that neck's better than it was, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. So Mr. East would be the guitars, got any paintwork doing, send it to him, he knows what he's doing, he's a good lad. Rest of it I will get done, like I say, I'll get it done on Monday, so come back to see how we get on. Not going to film any more work, just going to get the work done, get some new strings on there, get it all top notch, and this can go back to its owner Monday evening. Stay tuned, back soon. Right, welcome back to this Yamaha APX 500 guitar. You see now we're focused on the bridge, where what we had done is we removed a lot of material from the saddle, but the saddle then was sitting far too low. I've blown off that of my guitar, so get that out in a bit, we'll leave it at that. It was sitting far too low in the bridge, so what I've done is I've decided to remove some material from the bridge. And we're still sat a little bit low, but not as low as we were before. So what I'm doing is I've taken a rasp and I'm removing material from the bridge, and I've marked it there. You not see it where you are, but I've marked it with marker pen, and what I'm doing is I'm just going across and I'm removing material following the curve. It's probably easier to do it this way. But I'm trying to maintain that arc for the radius, just for aesthetics more than anything else. But we're going to get this, we're going to remove some material. And once we've got it to where I want it to be, I'm going to smooth it off. Right, we've gone low enough with that. I'm going to smooth it off and with a finer file, and then I'm going to sand it. And the job will be a good one. So let's just check where we are. As long as I've got enough clearance from here, I can start smoothing it off. It's not going to affect the holes down here. I just wanted to get this on camera because it's not something I've filmed before. And that is now beautiful. We're exactly where we need to be. So what I'll do now is I'll take a smoother file. I'll soften all the work I've done. And then I will finish, I will sand with some 400 grit. But all I'm going to do here, smooth it off. Just following the arc. I mean, and that really is probably smooth enough. I'm going to get some sandpaper on there. That is looking, oh, that's a lot better. Really pleased with that. That doesn't look so odd. Nice and smooth. I'm going to take some 400 grit sandpaper. That saddle is exactly how I want it now. I could lower the action a little bit more if I wanted to in the future, but I'm really happy with that. So I'll just zoom in, show you where we are with that. Let's just whiz up a little bit. There you go. And how's that? That looks like a good job. So I'm going to get some sandpaper on there now, just sand that smooth, and that's it. We've got enough of the saddle showing out of there now. Give us a good brake angle over there for the pins. And we are going to get advanced here now. We've got really good action. So what remains for me to do now is get rid of all this dust, take the tape off. Well, smooth this down first, get the tape off. We're going to get some strings on. We're going to hoover inside the guitar. And this guitar is going to be ready in a, well, I don't know when. It could be ready tonight. So, there you go. So come back to see how it turned out. And I'll see you again soon. Just a quick end part video on this Yamaha APX 500, because I did film it, but I didn't record it. Don't know why I'm there, but the guy is on the way to pick it up now. So let's just explain how it's come out. It's come out absolutely brilliant. I've got the action from 3.5mm down to 2.25 here. I've replaced 5 frets at this end and levelled all these frets here. I've tightened up the tuners. I've recut the nut. I've had to remove material from the bottom of the saddle, 2mm, and I've removed 2mm from the top of the bridge. So we've got the action nice and low. The guitar plays like an absolute dream. The action's so low. The owner of this guitar is going to be absolutely over the moon. Now, if you remember, I snapped the neck here. Well, I snapped it on the scarf joint when I'm pressing my frets in because I didn't set my neck jig right. Completely my fault. I've had that sorted out. I glued it and took it over to Beaver Guitars, to Mr. Eastwood over there, and he sprayed it up, finished it for me. So this is not a paying job by a long stretch. I've not made any money on this at all. In fact, it's cost me money to do this, but it's all about customer satisfaction, and I absolutely guarantee that the owner of this guitar is going to be absolutely elated. Something else I did, when I removed material from the top of the bridge and put some oil on there, mineral oil, this became a lot darker on the side, so I've stained the whole bridge. It looks fantastic. The action is low, it plays beautiful all over the neck. It's just, it now plays like a Yamaha ought to play. It was unplayable before, so I know for a fact, I know the owner is going to be absolutely pleased as punch. He's on his way now, Jeff, to come and pick it up, so I know he's going to be happy with that. I am really happy with how it's turned out. It is now, from a guitar that came in but was not playable, it is now a player's guitar. So that's it, another project finished. I am rushing because not so much I've got other stuff to do, but Jeff's on his way. My dinner's going to be out in a minute. I've had a long day. I've had 2 go out today, 1 go out yesterday. Doing really well, but this is it, another project finished. I'm really pleased with how it's come out, and I'm going to brag, but I'm not showing off. I am probably the best tech you're ever going to find around this area. So if you need a guitar looking at, bring it to me. I'm on facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. That's facebook.com/NG17. My name is Victor Christian. I'm signing off. Another project finished. So until next time, as always, be good to each other, and I'll see you soon.